Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's time for our next panel discussion. And the topic is Demystifying New CMV Rules 1989. And to go ahead with it, I request our IS Secretary, Department of Transport, Government of West Bengal, Dr. Soumitra Mohan. Can we have a round of applause and welcome him on the dais? Welcome, sir. I would now request Senior Director, IT, NIC, West Bengal, Mr. Abhijit Bhomik. Can we have a round of applause and welcome him on the dais? Welcome, sir. I'll now request Director, Bhandari Automobiles Private Limited, Mr. Siddharth Bhandari. Can we have a round of applause and welcome him to the dais? And now it's time to welcome our moderator for this evening, for this panel, our CEO, FADA, Mr. Sahaj Damani. Can we have a round of applause? Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I hope you had a good snacks break. And now coming back and discussing business. I think this is one of the most anticipated sessions about today's Vyapar. And we are fortunate enough to have Transport Secretary, Mr. Soumitra Mohan with us. Also, we are fortunate enough to have Mr. Abhijit Bhomik, Senior Director, NIC in Bengal, and our own Mr. Siddharth Bhandari from Calcutta, the past state chairperson. So first of all, I'd like to congratulate Government of West Bengal for taking such brilliant initiatives. Sir, first of all, I'd like to thank you and the entire team in terms of doing such brilliant work which the Government of West Bengal has done. In fact, Honorable Minister, Transport Minister was there with us during the inaugural, and he said that how many new initiatives and how many automatic initiatives have been taken by the state government. But coming to the point of business, sir, we are having one issue. In fact, the CMVR rule says that the entire registration process in the state should be automatic. And one of the steps in the process is the generation of numbers, which should be driven by the system. But in fact, I was here since last 2 days, and what feedback we are still getting that this process has not still be streamlined. The files still have to be passed by the RTOs, and it is a manual process. Now, the roadblock is whenever we are in terms of festivities, especially during the Durga Puja and Diwali, the kind of sales which happen, the traffic of sales is three times or 4 times of the average sale. And during that period, if every file has to be manually okayed by the RTO, then there's a lot of traffic of customers who don't want to wait and get their vehicles, almost immediately. But as you know, sir, the rule also says that we should not leave vehicles without the number is generated or the HSRPs are fixed. So how can, even though the government has taken so many steps, this is one small step if it can be implemented, in terms of the automatic registration process. It will help ease of doing business. It will streamline a lot of things. Traffic will be removed in terms of, approving of files, because the system already has those, things enabled in it. So would like to know your comments and what can be done to, solve this issue.
The only thing I'll say here, see, the issue was never, never, as we were discussing earlier with some of you there in the lounge. There are many issues that you have in your mind, but the problem is that they remain in mind. So unless you come to us and talk to us about it, how do we get to know and intervene? So if there is a problem, there has to be a solution. अगर ताला होगा तो उसकी चाबी भी होगी ही होगी, बिना चाबी के ताला नहीं बनता. So similarly, I'll request you that no, such issues please flag the issues to us. There are many, we were discussing many issues with Mr. Bhandari and Mr. Rohit and every other, so Mr. Agarwal. So any such issues that you are talking about you think should be resolved, मैं तो वो देख रहा हूँ कि last time when you had come, that was the last time when I came in 2023, and this is again after 2 years I have been invited by FADA. So why do we need this gap? अगर आप हमसे बात नहीं करेंगे तो किससे बात करेंगे?
dealers and
We need to have more and more interactions, structured interactions. And I was told by Mr. Junior Bhandari that actually there was a system earlier of having a regular meeting at regular intervals between Transport Department and FADA officials, FADA representatives, FADA members. So that interaction has somehow got into disuse. It's not happening. So why not revive it so that we have regular interaction where people like all our officers who can respond, and because see, if you are flagging a issue, I cannot offhand react, because then I have to go back to the rule books, I have to discuss my officers and team the implications. There are certain things that you all want, and I have discussed some issues. Some issues have been resolved where it is low hanging fruit. हम लोगों ने किया है. But where it is something, there are implications. Anything that you think is easy may not be easy because there are administrative issues, governance related issues. So same. यहाँ पे भी मैं वही बोलूँगा कि finally, please flag those issues that now अगर ऐसी कोई बात है, there are peak seasons. There might be peak season. There are many departments where for the peak seasons where the sales are very high or where demand is very high, people respond and react and intervene. So, and there are mechanisms for those peak seasons. We will also work out something. Maybe we can send our officers, we can do some camping. So this is something, but we need to know the scale. What is the scale that you are talking about, right?
thank you so much. And I am sure if I can take words from Mr. Bhaumik also, there is no hassle in terms of the NIC platform or the portal. And once a directive can be given, it can almost be implemented on an immediate basis. Or does NIC still needs any support from the national NIC team in terms of getting this implemented?
Yeah. Hello. If you think from 2003, when we launched Bahon 1, that Bahon 1, when we launched during 2003, first in the country, in West Bengal, that is called PVD Kolkata. Earlier, there was only one PVD. Instead of 4 PVDs, are you seeing? This is the largest PVD RTO office in the country. One director is headed by this RTO office. So that time, dealers people used to come to the office with all their papers. And every vehicles need to be inspected. From there, you see now, you are applying online, your payment is online, your TC is online. Earlier, TC was renewal for 1 year. After 1 year, now it is 5 years. So everything is online. So everything goes online to the RTO, and RTO is just verifying the application and approving the application. And
In fact, Mr. Bhaumik will vouch for that. We have around 78 faceless services,
yeah,
more than 150
online services.
online services. I don't know how many of you are even aware of it.
I think this needs a loud applaud for the government of West Bengal in terms of doing such a wonderful job, sir.
Right. So basically, no, you need to know what are these services which actually matter to you, which is something, because there are dealers, there are people or organizations who are still using the services of a third person. So it's someone goes to the RTO office and gets things done manually, when then actually you can do it sitting in your office or at your home. So this is where I think the communication gap which exists between two of us, I think need to be bridged further.
No, I'm sure I will like to get in Mr. Siddharth Bhandari now on this. The ball is what Dr. Sumitra Mohan has said. I think the ball is in our court, and this meeting which he is looking forward to, I think we need to fix up a regular meeting with the transport department and iron out issues. And one of these issues is, I think what he has already said, that it needs to be communicated in a proper way. So since Rohit is not here right now, maybe on behalf of Rohit, can we expect that FADA Bengal tries to now regularly meet, and also on this issue of automatic number generation. Any thoughts you would like to share on this?
So, firstly, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank the West Bengal government. I think they've been by far the most progressive state in the country in implementing Vahan. We were also one of the few states who understood the law very quickly and implemented it in the new Motor Vehicle Act. Uh, Having said that, I think this is a welcome move, and FADA Bengal, with a small contingent of representatives of the member body, would come every quarter and schedule these meetings in a more structured way, so that the interaction between the department and the association grows, and we take on some causes of the department together to grow the industry. Because we were just discussing with sir, we as an association haven't really played our part in terms of also promoting the dealer fraternity and our power and our influence in terms of work environment, in terms of the workforce that we deploy, in terms of the revenue that we generate for this beautiful state that we call our home state. So I think there's a lot that we can together bring on the table and also showcase the power of the transport division in employment generation to the highest authorities in the state. So I think that's a welcome move, sir, and we thank you for this, and I think we will take this up. On the front of the automatic registration, sir, I think this is now become, we are now in the age of, sir, 15 minute mein grocery agar nahi aayi, to we start complaining. So that is where our customer base has moved to. And we would thank you for this opportunity to meet you on this. If the laws permit us, we should look at a way how we can, with everything checked, we should look at a way how we can do this. Because our consumer, and you're also you also have consumers, the new consumer at home, you know that today, if 15 minutes more Blinkit does not deliver the shopping, grocery or something, the consumer is crying. So for us, the consumer is buying, it's an absolute festival when he buys a vehicle or he buys a two-wheeler or even that matter of fact, a commercial vehicle. He's buying it for his livelihood or he's buying it to celebrate in the family. So the minute he pays the complete money, he's expecting that I get the vehicle there and then without 1 minute delay. So that is from where we are coming. And if Bengal needs to take this forward, sir, this is the conclave, Egiye Bangla. We believe Bengal can change a lot of the rules and put the correct things in place for us to facilitate this. I think that's what we expect from the government.
So, if you see, the data says...
One more thing I want to add. All of you are requested to go to the Parivahan portal and check the faceless services. First, you check West Bengal, then check Gujarat and check other states. In Bahon, the faceless services, no need to go to the RTO. We have number 1 with Gujarat in the country. You check, verify it from your end.
In fact, you must be aware about the fancy number, because the fancy number was completely manual earlier. Now we had made it online. So no need to come to us or to do anything with the RTO office. It's there online. You just have to go whatever number you want. There's a certain process you need to follow, and fancy number can be allotted. So maybe some tweaking, if you don't go for a very highfalutin number, some basic number if you want, maybe थोड़ा उधर करके आपका automatic number generation का एक छोटा रास्ता we have already opened actually.
Thank you. I'll come to the second issue. And before coming to the issue, I was just going through some stats. When we sell one new car, there is approximately 1.9 pre-owned car which gets sold in India. And therefore, it is twice as much as a bigger market, which again is unorganized and needs a lot of regulation so that fair trade practices takes place, and also the kind of revenue leakage which happens from to the government in this. that also gets plugged in. So the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways has already come out with a notification in terms of bringing pre-owned vehicles into the organized framework, and therefore the transfer of name is now being proposed to be done on the Vahan platform. So many states have already gone forward in terms of implementing this. What is the status in West Bengal, and how soon can dealers also see that this unorganized trade can come into the organized framework, and also the transfer of name, transfer of the customer data can happen automatically on the platform?
I think there are two issues here. One is the sale of registered vehicle or the pre-owned vehicle, and second one is the change of ownership. So I think on that, or transfer of ownership, I think on that there are two, where the seller and the buyer both need to come to the RTO office as of the practice we have been having. But I think we have allowed that one of these persons, I think the seller can be taken online, and buyer, one of the two persons can be online, so both the person need not come. So, to just clarify, what have we done?
Actually, what we have done, for mainly the verification is required from the seller, not from the buyer, whether the sale is genuine. So to verify the seller, we can take the seller online, record the video, and we ask seller to share a identification copy, say Aadhaar card or PAN card, anything signed by him, and scan it and send to it.
So basically, दोनों को अब आने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. One of them can be online and one of them has to be there, because that is required for the verification. We need to know the transaction is genuine. About this, the registration of these vehicles, the pre-owned vehicles. If you remember, we from the Transport Department, we came out with a notification last year, where we all these dealers who are dealing in pre-owned vehicle or registered vehicle, it's a complete gray area when it comes to registration. So there is no registration of such dealers who are dealing in pre-owned vehicle or registered vehicle or second-hand vehicle. So that still what we see, that even today, there are number of such operators who are operating across the state, but they are not registered with us. There are only few we can count on fingers who are there registered. So I'll just request through you, through FADA, to please bring them on board, because very soon what we will do, we will start, we have still not got into enforcement. The moment we start doing that, I think that will, it will result in very heavy penalty against them. So we have already notified and requested all such dealers to get themselves registered with the Transport Department.
Sir, what happens is, in unorganized segment, when they are selling a vehicle, is it a roadworthy vehicle or not is always a question mark. Because if I as a customer go to an unorganized player, vis-a-vis if I go to, say, Bhandari Automobiles, I will always get a better deal at the unorganized market, because they are not doing enough body shop work in the car, making it roadworthy. They are also, not in the ambit of GST. Neither they have a trade certificate. So they have a lot of cushion in terms of running their business. Vis-a-vis if I go to an organized player, they will make the vehicle roadworthy. If they are doing a transaction, they will charge the GST also on it. So there is not a level playing field among both these parties which are selling a pre-owned vehicle. So I would also request Mr. Bhandari to share his thoughts in terms of how it is impacting the sales, and how once the pre-owned notification is notified by the government, it will bring in a level playing field for all the players in the market.
Sir, today, the Calcutta city and all major metropolitan cities, the congestion, the transport, the traffic. For a dealer to sell a new vehicle, at least 50 to 60% of our sales is exchange, where we have to buy in an old vehicle and we have to sell a new vehicle. If we become authorized resellers, we are today currently the authorized sellers of new vehicles by the Transport Department. We are also, if we get the opportunity to become authorized resellers for old second-hand vehicles, for the vehicles that we are trading in from the consumer who is connected to us, it'll also add a level of revenue because we will be able to expand this business even further. for us. Today, the backlog or the log for us to become large and take it to 1:1, the number of vehicles we sell and the number of old vehicles we sell, if the dam is the name transfer, because we cannot get the seller all the time to come. So the seller, once you look at us as authorized sellers, then we become the representative to the seller. So the sale genuinity is on us, and you can target, you have because we are paying GST, we are paying everything, there are ways in which you can hold us accountable. Like you hold us accountable for, we are buying from the manufacturer and we are selling the vehicle. So there is a transaction that is happening. There can always be an OTP that the seller has to validate, saying that, yes, I have given the vehicle as sales to this dealer. And that can be a validation online, which is not required for the customer to come. And when we sell a new vehicle, the department has faith that we have sold this to Siddharth Bhandari, this new vehicle. Then when we are selling an old vehicle, that is the kind of comfort we would like to build with the department, that we are selling it directly to the customer. So this becomes a completely faceless transaction for the department, and they generate revenue. And you become very picky and choosy on who you make an authorized reseller based on the parameters. There can be fulfillment criteria for the parameters. So not anybody and everybody, who runs who doesn't have certain valid documents gets on board. So you are filtering that process and making it.
Mr. Agarwal is here. No, he can share his experience. There was one particular customer, he sold his he bought the old car from him, and one of the very influential bureaucrats actually. So after so many years, the vehicle changed so many hands, and finally the vehicle got involved in one particular accident, and the person was awarded some hefty penalty, even though he had sold the vehicle to Mr. Agarwal's company, and in the interim, many hands changed, right? So just because some documentation were missing, this person actually, ensured that he is hugely troubled and mentally, in problem. So the idea is when we are doing certain such things, there are still, so I requested him to share his experience with all of you, so that all the dealers who are dealing in such vehicles should know as to what are the documentation part we should not compromise. Now, coming back to the sale of pre-owned vehicles, I'll suggest, the notification we came out with last year, maybe what you are suggesting, that there are many things that you will be wanting from us. But there will be some low-hanging fruit, some very, not so low-hanging fruit, very high-hanging fruit. So now, and certain things which will require amendment in the rules or amendment in the law. So there are certain things which we can do at our level. So the low-hanging fruit we should target first. So what I suggest, let's sit together and suggest changes in the notification we have come out with, as to what are the things that we can actually do, and we can accordingly revisit our own notification, right?
I think it's a great step forward in terms of the ministry saying that it's the ministry and the industry which has to come forward, sit, have a dialogue, and then take things forward. Sir, one of the things which is a trade certificate, it was earlier renewed for 1 year. Now it's getting renewed for 5 years, sir.
The demand came from FADA and we did it.
Thank you so much for that. In fact, I remember in 23 when we were having a discussion, on the spot you had agreed that it will be now renewed for 5 years. So, but there are few roadblocks which are coming in. The trade certificate says that if there is no issue being raised from the transport department within 30 days, it is deemed to be renewed automatically. But in few cases we are hearing that it is still getting pending, and that deemed to be renewed within 30 days is not happening at few RTOs end. And I would, want to bring this to your notice that even though the rule is very clear, few RTOs at their whims and fancies maybe are not wanting to do it, maybe there's something else in their mind, which I would not want to discuss on an open platform. So how do we tackle such issues, sir?
30 days, 30 days condition is there. But if any RTO raise any objection, then it will overcome this 30 days object. That is the point. In some cases, we have
30
seen
days
RTOs are-
if there is no objection being raised. So, but still, no, I need to, again, फिर मैं वही बोलूँगा कि I need to sit with my team to find out what are those objections that they actually raised, whether there was any need to have raised those objections at all. So, again, it will only happen when there is a structured प्रेमालाप हो हमारे बीच में. तो वो I think we need to do it.
But since we have a dealer representative also, and he being the voice of the dealers here, what kind of issues are we facing on the ground so that we can share some examples with the, with the ministry?
I think, sir, firstly, thank you, for acknowledging that there are challenges. What we request is, sir, when we are doing a new trade certificate application, then we understand that there are things that need to happen in inspection. But for an existing facility, when we are going for a renewal, if that can be made as an auto renewal, because we are not changing anything in the infrastructure, we are already running a business out of it. If our documents are in order, if our LOI is in order, then maybe an auto renewal rather than, because there is nothing to inspect further on something that we are already doing. A new entity, we understand that there are a lot of checks and balances that need to come in. But because in this state, we have close to 300-400 even more dealer groups, and all of them having at least on an average 7 outlets. So you imagine the number of outlets we have in as a dealer fraternity. And every time to go for a fresh application. So I think if that auto renewal can happen here.
The only thing I'll tell you, there can be two kind of changes. One is very abrupt change, like Kranti आप लेकर आए, revolutionary changes, which is very bloody. And the one change which comes in Fabian changes, socialist changes, slow changes, right? Gradual changes. So now depends, like a system which has been there for years together, if you break the system, because there are different status quoist people, right? A system that suits you, a system that suits them, right? So breaking the system all of a sudden, it needs a lot of discussions. And again, when we are discussing, when we are like what you have, some of these issues we have already discussed. They always come with some very cogent, strong arguments why it should not be done. So now, if you are around, they are coming and talking from their perspective. If you are around, you will bring out your perspective. So there are certain things maybe where a middle path could be found. Maybe not what you want exactly, what they want completely, but a middle path can always be found so that at least, the purpose is to expedite the sale. The purpose is to help the customers. Purpose is to help the public, right? So I think let's discuss it further, because जो चीज़ें अगर पिछले 50 साल में नहीं हुई और पिछले अगले 5 महीने में या 5 दिन में तो होने वाला है नहीं, we are definitely very positive that we'll bring out those changes. But let's sit together and discuss with them, because they are critical stakeholders. Whenever we have discussed these things, we have discussed with them. They have their arguments. So सामना-सामनी जब टेबल पे बैठ के बात करेंगे, I think we can resolve it better.
Thank you for that. So can we have some timeline to this in terms of when can we do such a meeting where we can?
I'm open. Do it in April. Next financial year, I'm there. Do it. इस महीने में तो नहीं है, because it's a March month, and March is very ruthless. When you are all busy, we are all busy. So maybe from April onwards, I'm open for any date, for any such meeting.
So very quickly, I'll take up the last issue, what we had in mind. So the CMV rule is very clear that one TC is enough for n number of my outlets in one RTO's jurisdiction. Which means technically if I have one dealership outlet and if I have few more showrooms in the same Howrah RTO, I will not require separate TCs for the same. But there are few RTOs which are still insisting that the number of outlets we have, individual number of TCs are required for the dealers. Now there becomes a lot of hindrance in doing business.
It depends what addresses you are showing, how the concerned outlets or the branches are being registered, whether it is being registered as a branch or as a separate entity, because maybe for your taxation purposes, you are showing it as a separate entity. So it all depends what we are talking about. So whether that's a completely new entity or on paper, at least you have kept some linkages, right? এটাই তো হবে.
For every vehicle class, you have to keep one TC at least.
Every vehicle.
Every vehicle class.
Every vehicle class
You need. So for two-wheeler, you need a one TC. For four-wheeler,
Absolutely.
alag-alag
Yes.
model के लिए
For
alag-alag
different models,
TC
different TC, right?
because TC is now integrated with the vehicle class.
Can I just get
And in fact, in many cases, I think for using the vehicle for the test ride, you need those TCs, right?
Yeah.
So it has come to our notice. We have actually penalized them also, some of the dealers, where they have supposed 3 TCs. So 3 vehicles should be on the road for the test ride, but there were actually 6. Now the problem is, since there is no insurance, nothing against them, if anything happens, some accident happens with those vehicles, the person concerned will not get any insurance claim or something. This is one of the arguments they flagged to us. So, but again, I'll again say that I'm not closing the door. Let's, if there's any such possibility in the laws or rule book, we are willing to consider and discuss.
any views from you, Siddharth?
I think if we can show our main outlet with a branch outlet, then I think if the main outlet and the branch outlets are in the same vicinity of the RTO office, then and we can come as a dealership.
जैसा भौमिक साहब ने कहा
वही हम
कि one class of vehicle, one TC. So it has come to our notice that you had one TC, but you were actually, there were 2 vehicles on the road. If you're test riding, there cannot be 3 vehicles or 4 vehicles.
That is a complete violation, sir.
So this is what came to our notice.
And I think that is a complete violation from the dealership fraternity. We will be more conscious of our test drive vehicles and the number of TCs we have. While we increase the number of TCs to fit our test drive, our request is that if we are opening up a branch outlet in the same vicinity of the RTO, then of the RTO, sir, because you made several ARTOs. If we are opening a branch outlet in the vicinity of the RTO, then we request that need not we go again and apply for a trade certificate. If our existing trade certificate of the main outlet can be used, which is also part of the Act today. So if that is allowed, it allows us a lot of ease of business, and we will increase the number of trade plates that are required to run the business. That point we take from you, that we will increase, and we will put out an advisory in our group to our members that they must increase the number of trade plates that they've taken for one particular TC, so that they can accommodate all the branch displays and all the branch test drive vehicles in that vicinity of the RTO.
Again, I'll go back and say that before we actually find solution to this problem, the officers who are in the technical know of the things, who are handling things in the field, I think we need to sit with them and discuss. I'm very hopeful that we'll find a solution.
Thank you so much, sir. We are up on time, and the conclusion which I find from this is we need to have continuous dialogue between the industry and the ministry to take things forward, iron out things, and take the best decision in terms of, making the customers the most satisfied customers in the state. With this, I would like to thank you so much, and thank you all for having a patience hearing me.
Thank you so very much, gentlemen. Panelists and moderator, I request all 4 of you to kindly please stay back. Thank you. I would now request Mr. Sanjay Bhandari and Mr. Sandeep Agarwal to kindly please join us here on stage to felicitate Dr. Shomitra Mohan. Gentlemen, I will request all of you to kindly please stay back. I would now request Mr. Anil Bagaria to kindly please join us here on stage to felicitate Mr. Abhijit Bhaumik. I would now request Mr. Rajendra Kumar Shaha to kindly please join us here on stage to felicitate Mr. Siddharth Bhandari. Can we have a round of applause to welcome him on stage? Now I would request Mr. Kushal Bajoria to kindly please join us here on stage to felicitate Mr. Sahash Tamani. Can we please have a round of applause as Mr. Bajoria join us here on the dais? We request you all to kindly please gather in for a group photo opportunity. Thank you so very much, gentlemen. Can we have a round of applause for all our panelists and our moderator?